Hello, hello. Chad here again with our Kinetics at Home workout track. Today, we're sticking with our three portions of our workout, our prep, our sweat, and our breathe section. The prep section, we're gonna start 3 to 4 sets of a multi-direction bear crawl for 1 minute, 16 alternating dead bugs, then a minute of glute bridges, followed by 16 tall plank shoulder taps. Okay, so our multi-direction bear crawl. Again, I apologize, I gotta take a step back here, but hopefully you can hear me and follow along with this. So multi-direction, we can go forward, backwards, left, right. If you wanna try and travel in a circle, going clockwise and counterclockwise, okay, mix it up a little bit, but either way, we're moving in this quadruped crawl for 1 minute, okay? I want to think about stepping in opposition. So my right hand and left foot lift at the same time. So I'm going to walk forward, backward, side to side. Okay, and I can do my little circle. Okay, making sure that for that entire minute, I'm practicing control. I'm trying to keep my back parallel to the ground, okay? I'm braced through my belly. When I pick my hands and feet up, I'm not slapping them down, right? It's delicate, it's controlled the whole time, and I'm braced. 1 minute there, then we follow with our alternating dead bugs. We have 16 reps. So coming down onto the floor, we're gonna make sure that our low back is pressed into the floor, that we're crunched down through the midsection slightly. And I'm gonna start in my starting position, arms straight up overhead, knees bent at 90, hips at about 90. And from here, I'm gonna reach with my left leg, my right arm, and then back up. Opposite side, right leg, left arm, back up. Make sure, while you're doing these, we're staying braced through the belly, pushing the low back into the floor, and we don't want to pull the knee way up over the hip and tuck it in. We want it basically stacked over the hip when you're laying down, okay? The non-working arm is just staying straight up while the other one reaches back, okay? If it's helpful, or you feel your low back peeling off the ground, you may have to limit your range of motion a little bit on these so you don't quite touch your hand or quite touch your feet to the floor. You can do this with a bent knee position, so instead of straightening the leg all the way, that's another substitution. Again, this is if you start to feel your low back kind of separate from the floor, you can't maintain that arched position, okay? So you wanna really feel contact with the lower back the whole time while you're doing this. And then there's also the ballerina dead bug option as well that you can mix in, which is basically you're gonna turn the soles of your feet together, keeping the knees bent, but the knee's gonna be out to the side. And I'm gonna do that same idea where I extend opposite arm and leg, right? So same concept, if the left arm is going up in this slightly bent position, okay, then the what do you call it? The left leg, I'm sorry, right arm is up, left leg is down. Sorry, I misspoke there. But as your right arm is up, left leg is extended, okay, and back and forth, but we're maintaining this bend through the elbow, creating this kind of arch. And we're maintaining that same similar bend with our leg, right, where the knee is flared out to the side, and we're extending the hip up and down in that position, right? Just a little bit of variance on that one. And then we go from our dead bugs to 1 minute of glute bridges. So on my glute bridge, you can add a band around the knees if that works for you. And we're just gonna get ourselves on the floor again. I'm gonna keep my heels driven into the floor, brace through my belly, and I'm just lifting my hips. Squeezing my butt at the top. Okay, nice and controlled. We're going for a minute. These don't need to be super fast, okay? They don't also need to be painfully slow. You can play around with tempo, but the biggest thing we're looking for is that they're smooth and controlled. Lastly, we have our 16 tall plank shoulder taps. Again, we're going to alternate this. So that tall plank position, we're going to start here at the top of a push-up, and I'm reaching up and touching the opposite shoulder. So right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder, okay? These are controlled with a pause for a moment at each rep, okay? So I'm not quickly tapping my shoulders, right? I'm coming up, hold, down, up, hold, all right? The idea is to maintain a nice straight line from the back of your neck down to your heels, so you're in that good solid plank position, so we're not sticking our butt way up in the air or letting our back kind of arch and sag. Okay, we'll go through our 3 to 4 sets there. Then you're going to need your duffel bag or suitcase or sandbag if you have one, slam ball, okay, something that allows you to get into a bear hug position. We've even put videos out of using things like a Lowe's or Home Depot bucket filled with whatever, dirt, gravel, whatever you got, and you're just gonna bear hug that as well. The movements we have today are a squat, an RDL, and a carry, okay? As you go through this, the goal is gonna be for all 3 movements, you're performing them for 1 minute. That is done unbroken. So we'll start with our squats. Once we finish a minute there, we go immediately into our RDLs. We finish a minute there, and then immediately into a carry, okay? So again, take this outside, enjoy some of the weather, enjoy nature. If not, you're gonna be in an enclosed space. The carry can just be a march, okay? And I'll show you what that looks like. So for our squat, we're gonna get the sandbag or whatever it is up. We're hugging it into the torso, into the chest, and then we're getting into a good squat position. Taking a little bit more of a step back here. Okay, looking for hips getting down at or below the knees. Okay, torso's upright. We're going for a minute. From there, you can play around with position if this still works for you. Hinging those hips back, squeeze your butt. Hips back, squeeze your butt. If you need to kind of shift the bag up into more of a modified front rack position, you can do that as well. Okay? Get a minute of RDLs, and then we're just right back here, and we're carrying. So you can pick a little lap or a loop that you do, but you're covering 1 minute. If you're inside, you can just turn this into a march, where you're just gonna hold, and we're gonna alternate, picking up one foot and then the other, nice and controlled. After those 3 minutes are up, drop the bag, rest as needed. Okay, the goal is to complete 3 to 5 rounds. Make this work for you, the time that you have available in your day, and the effort that you're able to put into it, right? As far as loading, I recommend choosing something that's moderately heavy, right? If you have some different options, don't necessarily choose something that's super heavy. If it's a little bit on the lighter side, because that's all you have, then you can always shift in terms of volume, right? So you might move a little bit faster during the squats and RDLs if you only have maybe a 20-pound med ball or something like that to choose from. So there will be a little bit of adjustment required based on the parameters of equipment you have available, as well as the space you have available. But we're gonna maintain contact with this element for the entire 3 minutes while we're working each round. Cool? Rest in between as needed. After you finish your 3 to 5 rounds there, we're gonna move on to our breath section, okay, or our breathe section rather. Today, we're getting into child's pose. We're spending our 5 minutes, deep diaphragmatic breath. As always, if you can extend that time, maybe add that into a little bit of a meditative practice, we definitely recommend that. So utilizing, whether it's an app or you don't want any noise or music in the background or just some music, make it work for you. But the point is to take a moment of solitude and quiet, work on getting your breath back to normal after your workout, as well as just kind of clearing your mind for a few minutes, and having that moment to yourself. We get into our child's pose. For those of you that may be unfamiliar, you're just gonna get down to the ground in a kneeling position, sit your butt back towards your heels, and then we're gonna drop the chest and reach the hands out. We're gonna walk those hands out, drop the head, and we're here. Once you're there, big deep breaths in through the nose, trying to fill the belly, trying to elongate each section of the breath. So stretching out that inhale, hold the breath for a few seconds, stretching out that exhale, hold that exhale for a few seconds. Okay? Have fun with this, you guys. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you next time.